Mr. Cummings.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And first of all, I want to thank all of our witnesses for being here, Mr. Stewart, Mrs. Huckabee, and Mr. Harris. Let me say that I think it was you, Mr. Stewart, that said, I've lost my faith in government. And then you said something that really kind of struck me. You said, in the real world, you're on your own. Well, that's not the way the United States is supposed to be. When our people get in trouble, just like you just said, the nation is supposed to come to their rescue, and you should not be treated like you're not a citizen of this country. And for that, I think we all have to straighten that out. To Ms. Huckabee, you said, I do not believe that FEMA set out to do harm. And one of the other things that you said was, what can I do to stop my children from being sick? Well, the fact is that FEMA should have asked the same question. How can they make sure that you and your family is safe? And then to you, Reverend Harris, Mr. Harris, you talked about helplessness and hopelessness. And that goes back to the line of questioning that just took place of Mr. Ice's questions. I think part of the problem here is that and we've got to keep this in mind, there are a lot of people who are helpless, they feel helpless, and they feel hopeless. And they've already come through one storm, and they're just trying to figure out how do they survive from day to day. So rather than complain, they go through the process. And then going back to something you said, Mr. Vaney, we've got a situation where they've got children. And I'm telling you, I was here shaking my head. The thought that someone would put children in that situation, and I don't care who you want to blame for it, whether it's you say it's the top, the bottom. The fact is that this should not happen in the United States of America. It should not. We can send people to the moon, damn it. We ought to be able to protect our people and make sure our children are safe. Now, the committee has been over, and again, we've been hearing all this stuff about ventilation. And so I just want to ask a few real quick questions. After receiving the results of this testing, FEMA has repeatedly argued that ventilating is a viable option for addressing high formaldehyde levels. For example, in an official statement released to the public on March 1st, 2007, FEMA stated, and I quote, "Our investigation of formaldehyde and travel trailers indicates that ventilating units can significantly reduce levels of formaldehyde emissions. However, FEMA failed to mention that it achieved these results, how it achieved these results. It tested these trailers with all the windows open, the static vents open, and the ventilation fan on for 3 straight weeks. The testers never closed the trailer off in any way. Mr. Stewart, would it have been reasonable for you to leave your windows open 24 hours a day?
I did.
And what happened?
It came back at 0.22 parts per million, over twice the safe level. And I can add that during that time, it was the middle of the winter. We had an air purifier in operation when we did our test, all of the windows open and the exhaust vent on, and it was almost 4 months after we got our camper. So we had been airing the camper out for 4 months and left it open while we did the test, and it still came back over twice the safe limit.
Ms. Huckabee, does testing the trailers under the conditions provide you with any comfort? In other words, the testing that I just said?
No.
And Mr. Harris, when you leave your trailer to go to work, to take your family somewhere, do you have to lock it up and close the windows?
You have to lock up your place because it's where your valuables are. And I might add this to that. When they tell you to air out the trailer, I don't really know what air out means now. What does air out really mean? Because when you come back, it's believe me, it's terrible.
So in other words, if you leave the windows open and come back, what happens? I mean, you still got a problem?
You still have a problem. If you go in there, your eyes are going to burn, your eyes are going to water, and you're going to start coughing. You'll know. We didn't know what it was at first. I know I didn't. I had no idea it was formaldehyde.
Mr. Devaney, you wanted to say something?
I do. I'd like the members of this committee to understand that even though they keep hearing formaldehyde levels will go away, they'll get better and better. In fact, Ball State University did a study of formaldehyde and formaldehyde-emitting particle board and fiberboard and plywood, and those studies showed that after 4 to 5 years, the levels were still only down to half as much. 4 to 5 years. We have to do something before this.
I see my time is up. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cummings.